Your logo is not your brand. And this is something that a lot of founders and even a lot of marketers get wrong. Because the second that someone starts thinking brand, they tend to run to a designer and want a logo, fonts, colors, patterns, maybe even a website. And we have ingrained this in our brains that brand equals design. But a brand strategy is so much more than the visual representation of your business. A brand really is that gut feeling people have about you based on every interaction with you. And it ends up being the foundation of your entire business, your offer, your sales, your marketing, your operations, your product. Everything about your business is driven from your brand. And so in this video, what I want to do is break down why people see brand as just the visual side, what a brand strategy actually is, and how it can benefit your business to do it right. So let's start with a brand is not a logo. Now, I want to be clear here because your logo is incredibly important because it ends up being the face of your business. Think about it. If you're driving down the street and you see golden arches in the distance, you know that it's McDonald's. That logo is the visual representation of the company. It acts as its face, so you can recognize it from a distance. But that logo doesn't embody what makes the company the company. It's not, those golden arches don't make McDonald's, they represent McDonald's. And so when you're starting to think about your brand, the first step is not to just jump straight to design. Because otherwise you can have a decent logo, you can have something that looks good, but doesn't actually represent who you really are as a company. Think of it this way. Did Nike become who they are because of a swoosh? Did Apple become who they are because of a logo of an apple with a bite out of it? Did McDonald's become who they are because of golden arches? Did Slack become who they are because of their funky little weird design? No. Those are representations of the company. They're the face so that you can recognize them on social media and on the website and on any marketing materials that they give. But that logo is not their brand. A brand is the gut feeling people have of your business based on every interaction with your business. It's everything about what you do. It identifies the unique position that you hold in the market. That is what makes you different. That is your brand that a logo should represent. So, what should be in your brand strategy? I've got this written down for you guys because you know I like to use my whiteboard here. So a brand strategy starts with positioning. Now, another way to describe this is your uniqueness, your differentiation, the reason why customers should choose you. You need to understand your position in the market. Why should I buy from you when I could buy from any competitor that I can find on Google or ChatGPT in 2 seconds? Understanding this, your positioning, is what's going to drive everything else in your business. Next, you want to look at messaging and storytelling. How are you going to communicate that unique value to the market? What's the messaging that's going to be on the website? What's the story that you're going to tell in your content? What's that point of view that you're going to hold that resonates with your ideal customers so when they see it, they're like, this company just gets me. This is what you need to figure out here. Then you want to look at the experience that you provide, your marketing, your sales, your customer experience, the journey that you take prospects through to go from, I don't know who you are, down to, you are the best company I've ever worked with and I want to tell everyone about you. What is that journey to get them to that place where they want to tell others about you? And yes, it is a visual identity, but this should come as the last part of your brand strategy because it needs to reflect the customer experience you provide, and it needs to reflect the message that you're and story that you're telling, and it needs to reflect the positioning that you hold. Let me give you an example of why starting here is a wrong idea. We had a client a few years ago who was trying to build a brand of being in the background. They worked with ABA clinics or clinics who work with children with autism. And they're like, we're not the heroes. We're the paper pushers who help them go from here's the medical record to the insurance company and here's your check. They're like, we are not in the spotlight. But they picked colors that they liked, that were peacock green and purple. And no amount of peacock green and purple says, I'm not in the spotlight, I'm just in the background. Peacock green and purple screams, look at me. So if you don't have your positioning down and you don't have your messaging down and you don't know the customer experience you want to provide, you're not actually ready for a visual identity. Because you will create a logo, you will create colors and fonts and designs and patterns that communicate something different than what you're trying to communicate. And nothing ruins trust with a prospect more than your message saying one thing and your design saying something else. If these are not in line, and if this is not in line, and if this is not in line, it tells the reptilian part of your customer's brain, something is off here. Do not trust this company. You need to build these before you get to your visual identity. And here's why. You see, when you have a solid position in the market, when you've built a brand strategy that makes you different, you're communicating it well, you have a great experience, and you have the visual identity to back all that up. So when they see your logo, when they see your design, they just get it. They get why you're different. It causes things to happen that benefit your business. Things like you get to compete on value instead of price. So you can end up charging really whatever you want and people will still pay for it. It's why there are Jordans that are worth $200-$300, or I can go to pay less and pay $30 for a knockoff pair of shoes. They're the same shoe. The difference is the value in them. It's the same with your offer. If you compete on value, you can charge what you want. You will start attracting customers who pay more. Customers who aren't always trying to get a discount from you, who aren't always like, whoa, that's a lot of money. Can you also add this in for me? Or can you give me some kind of discount? Like, I can't afford that. Can you give me a payment plan? You start attracting customers that say, oh, that's what you charge? Yeah, here's the money. Let's get started. You start building brand loyalty so customers stick with you longer, that you don't just do one project with them, you do another and another and another, and they keep coming back to you. And you get a much shorter sales cycle where you can go from maybe spending 5 months to get a yes down to a week to get a yes. When you have a unique position in the market, when you have a solid brand strategy and everything is in alignment, you make more money. That is the benefit. And so if you are trying to build your brand strategy, start here. Work on your positioning, your messaging, your customer experience, and then your visual identity. You will hold a much more unique place in the market and attract clients to you. And if you want a more broken down video on how to actually do this, the step-by-step, I've got a video for you right here. Go check it out. It lists out everything you need to do to create this brand strategy. But in the meantime, if you like this video, if you found it valuable, give it a like, subscribe to my channel, and you'll get more strategies like this, more advice like this to help grow your brand so you can become the only choice.